And it is important to, and I'm gonna kind of go over this in more detail. There's two types of half butterfly. There's one where his knee is behind my hip. You can see how his knee is down. And then there's the one where his knee is above my hip, which is almost like full butterfly, but he's like that. Actually, I'm gonna break it down real quick. I'm gonna have him on top. You just hold half guard, you'll be on your elbows, square like this. So the one entry is I make the hook, but you'll notice my bottom knee is behind his hip, it's behind his leg. I'm leveraging everything on this hook. This is one variation of the half butterfly. The second is the same exact thing, but before I engage the hook, I bring my knee right here. This to me is the more dangerous variation because now there's two frames, there's two hooks. So that's kind of how you're going to approach the position. How do I approach passing? If he makes the hook, number one, I have to drop my hip like this. And if his knee is behind my hip line, I'm going to start to tax this leg. Meaning I'm going to start to move my hip back because I want him to start to engage that hook. But when I do, you notice my bottom knee is kind of bracing against his bottom knee. And I just keep moving my leg back. Now I block and mount. Because this behind makes it a much structurally weaker guard. You're leveraging your success on this one hook. This, once this knee comes in, changes the whole way I have to approach this position. It's far more dangerous. When you get into this half guard, half butterfly position, and we'll drill this, what I want you guys to do is, no matter what, even if my hips have already dropped, you're going to engage the hook, but not to sweep me. I want you to put a little pressure against me and use it to bring your knee inside my hip. That's it. See, now you're set to go. Now, same thing. If I go here and I start to mount, go the other way now. See, that's how you're going to engage your hooks. So to pass this, actually we're going to go here for a minute. To pass this, now go ahead and move your hip out. With the hook, I block this knee. You see how my bottom leg is blocking your knee? Now once I have that in, now I'm going to start to lift my leg. I'm not intimidated to draw your hook out because I know once your leg moves past the bottom leg, it's all on your hip flexor. You have no sweep, no leverage to sweep. And because I'm ahead of this leg, I just block it, step over and mount. So the way you want to approach this position is when you secure your butterfly hook, you use the hook as a wedge, as a way to frame to make sure that knee is at my hip line. Then you can segue from single butterfly to double butterfly. There's no way you're going to get mounted. Then it's a more attacking position because you always have a backup. So this is what I want you guys to work on. You're going to start from here. Flat half guard position. And all you're going to do, I'd like to start with you securing the position first. So you're going to move your hip out, put the first hook in, and then from here, use the hook a little bit to move your hip out to get the second knee inside, right there. See? This is the way I want you guys to start your half butterfly half game. It's always super important you have this wedge. Because you won't have the space for it. Even this, you have to move your hip out, put the hook in, and then see it's still tight. So you use the hook to move me a little bit, but that right there, see? Now this is much more problematic. I feel this, I have to draw back. I don't want to be on your chest now. I have to work on it as though it's a full butterfly guard, even though it's still technically only half. Because this is a hook just waiting to be unlocked.
You can't tripod over the top?
You can, but again, like I know like body lock passing is really, really popular right now, and it's a great way to control, but you have to have a really good understanding of, number one, I have to make sure your hips cannot move, and I have to have a really acute sense of balance. And if the guy's really proficient with his hooks, you'll just play this dance for a little while. It's not to discourage that kind of passing, I like to do that as well. I'll hold on to the hips. But to me, like body lock passing, in order to be proficient at it, means you have to have a really good butterfly guard. Because only if you have a really good butterfly guard can you understand the nuances of what your partner's trying to do to you. So that's kind of like a more advanced way of looking at the position. You have to be okay with them, because you're basically engaging their hooks, but you're controlling the hips to minimize the amount of leverage they can generate to get you where they want you to go. Does that make sense? So let's start with that first. I want to have you guys work, just set up the butterfly, half butterfly, and then we'll work some attacks from there. Really simple attacks, but just easy, and then we'll work on passing it as well. Okay? Cool? Let's go. 1, 2, 3.